Have you ever been to Bullweevil? It's a casual dining restaurant in the San Diego area. They serve burgers and they have these little peppers that my dad used to love to eat. I remember going there a lot with my dad when I was a kid. And one time we went there and they had the radio playing. And for some reason it was like a talk radio or it was a commercial or something. And it was a guy who was in a wheelchair who was talking. And he was in a wheelchair because he had been shot in the face. And he had been shot in the face because he was trying to kill himself. He was severely depressed and he put a gun to his temple and pulled the trigger and he survived. And I just remember thinking like, wow, I just don't think I would want to survive that. Like, that's pretty bad, right? That's terrible. And as his story went on, he went on to talk about how incredibly grateful he was for that experience and how he was just so happy to be alive, and he was so happy that he was not successful with the suicide attempt. And I could not wrap my little brain around it. I just kept thinking to myself, like, well, you were depressed before. Now you're in a wheelchair with a deformed face, and now you're happy to be alive? Like, really? I couldn't. I was like, no way. I could never feel like that. I think that it would make my depression worse. And that is the way my depressed mind thought. And now that I am on the other side of it, that story still plays in my head from time to time, because that story of a man who tried to take his own life, who ended up deformed and in a wheelchair, was so grateful to be alive. He was overjoyed that he had a second chance. And when I was at my darkest, I would remember that story and just say, like, man, like, if he can do that, what am I doing? Why do I feel so terrible right now? My situation is not nearly half as bad as his, and he's happy now. So I knew that it was possible to overcome depression. I knew that he wasn't the only one, that there were plenty of people who had had a close call and it made them feel grateful for another chance. It made them realize that they'd been wasting their life feeling sad and feeling hopeless and feeling depressed when there was no reason to, right? And I knew that if they could do it, then I could do it too. That there had to be a way, without actually trying to kill yourself, there had to be a way for this change of heart to come about. And there is. I have shared this a couple times, so you probably might know the story already, but I had an experience where I was sitting on my couch with a gun to my head, and thank God, thank the universal intelligence, thank whatever you believe in, thank the universe, I didn't actually pull the trigger. But I did have an intervention, which I believe was like some sort of divine intervention. My phone rang, and it was somebody who I just gotten off the phone with. It was my ex. And he said, I don't know why I'm calling you. I don't have a good reason for it, and I don't have anything to say. I just really had an overwhelming urge to call you back. I needed to call you. And I realized at that moment that if there was a sign, that was it. I needed to take it, because I knew that there was going to be something, there was going to be a change. I didn't know how big, I didn't know when, but I was like, all right, if I can just make it through tonight, maybe I'll feel different tomorrow. And, I still, the next day still sucked, but it wasn't quite so bad. And that was my turning point, when I decided that living a life of depression is no way to live. And there's no reason for it. You don't have to feel like that. You don't have to feel any way that you don't want to feel. You can learn to be happy. You can learn to feel joy. You can learn to relax. You can learn to quit obsessing over things that don't matter. You can change your life. You have the power to change your life. You have all of the wisdom and all the instruction you need in here in your heart. And all you need to do is tap into it and continue to choose the path of happiness. And it's difficult. It's a difficult road, because it is easy to slip back into depression. It's easy to get caught up in the trivial things that brought you down before. But when you have somebody who's on your side, who knows exactly what you've been through, holding your hand through it, who's there to help remind you the things that you know deep in your heart, that life is good. You have the choice to feel how you want to feel, and you have the power to change your feelings if you want to. When you have that level of support in your life and someone to turn to who's been through this and is now on the other side, who can say to you, like, just come with me, come this way, this is the life that you want, it's amazing over here, then it helps you stay on track. It helps you continue to push forward when you feel like giving up. And that is priceless. That level of support is priceless. And it's not the kind of thing that you can get from a therapist who's never been depressed, who's only studied about it and has never experienced it. It's not something that you can get from medication. I'm not telling you to quit your medication. If you're on medication and you're under the care of a doctor, do what they say. But medications don't fix you, right? They take the edge off. If you're at a point in your life where you're like, I'm going to kill myself, they might take it off to where you're like, wow, this sucks, but I'm here, And then once you get that edge off, once you get past the crucial point where you feel like it's a life or death situation, then you have the opportunity to start working on your happiness, to start making those choices, to start learning what it is to be happy and how to create it in your own life. I want to help you do that. I want you to know that you have the power within you to do that. You can look back on your life and say, I was so sad for so long and I'm through it now. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be here, and I want to share this feeling with other people. This is available to you. You just have to reach out and grab it. This is for you. It was for me. It's for you too. If this has resonated with you at all, please share this video. Let people know that there is hope, that they don't have to feel sad. They don't have to feel depressed. You don't have to wish for death. You don't have to feel like that. I know you probably do feel like that right now, but you don't have to. You can change it. You got to know that. You got to believe that in your heart. So that's my call for you, my call to action. Share this video with as many people as you possibly can, because you never know who's quietly suffering. You never know who's dying on the inside and who's unwilling to share their struggle. They need to know that they're not the only ones that feel like that, and that support is available to them. There's a community of people who are ready to welcome them in, to teach them how to get over these depressed symptoms where you feel just hopeless and sad and worthless and useless. And you can get to a place where you feel powerful and you have purpose and love in your life. You can get there. let them see that. Help them to see that by sharing this video with them. And if you are struggling and you need help, I'm here for you. Shoot me a message.